Well, it's 2 o'clock, so we'll get started, and hopefully we'll have a few more trickle in. If not, you two get a lot of good individual attention here. So we had Mr. J.B. Preacher here this morning, and he's going to be back in this afternoon for us. He's our counselor out here at James Front. And a while back last semester, I had some students approach me about wanting to know how to build a resume, how to write a resume. And I thought, well, that's a good workshop topic right there. So contacted Mr. J.D. and he said he'd throw something together, and he's done a really good job of putting some stuff together. I think a lot from Purdue University. And anyway, I'm just going to turn it over to him and let him tell you what he has.
Yeah, don't believe in reinventing the wheel if they can find it.
Absolutely.
Today our agenda will be resume description. We're going to talk about just some general guidelines, some preliminary research you want to do when you're looking at a company you want to apply for, the various sections of a resume, and then just some extra tips. Also, I hand out a couple packets when we get done that give you some other examples of resumes and action verb words that are good for use in resumes. And then we're going to do it. We're not going to do it in here, but I've got a resume workshop worksheet as well. And I'll explain it when we get there. Okay, so what is a resume? You all heard, have a resume. That's what you got to do. Well, yes, you need to have a resume when you're looking at applying for jobs, but it's basically your personal and professional information that you want your employers to know. Some of the items you can see up there: career goals, what is your education level, what were your degrees in, your experience. That can be internships, it can be actually paid work, it can be personal experiences. Anything that you think would be beneficial for that employer to know. Also, any activities you're involved in, and especially honors. That's what we always try to get people involved in various aspects of their community or their school, because employers do want to see that you've got some other experiences. You just didn't go to school, sat there, studied, and went home, but you actually got involved in somewhere. Some general guidelines. You want to limit your resume to 1 page. Sometimes as you get further on in your careers, you may end up bumping into the 2nd page, but generally the general guidelines is 1 page type. You heard of a cover letter for jobs? That's where you get into more detail about you, that you'll actually look like you're writing an essay that 1 to 2 pages typed up. And those can get a little bit longer once you get further down your career. But for this, because it's going to be very short time that the employer is going to look at, it's going to be about 15 seconds. They're going to breeze through it and look for bulleted items that appeals to them. Your paper use, just standard white paper, maybe light gray or cream, but don't go any crazy colors. Okay, some people think, well, I'll get the employer's attention. Yeah, you will, but it probably wouldn't be in a good way. They see a hot pink resume get turned in. Okay, for your preliminary research, you want to find out about the job itself, about the company. What qualifications and skills do they need? And most of that comes from the job advertisement itself. It'll say, look at skills needed. It'll say qualifications needed, and then a lot of times they'll put preferred qualifications. So they may say an associate's degree in business meets the standard, but preferred is that they prefer somebody with a bachelor's in business administration. So definitely, if you look for jobs that have that, if you have a 4-year degree, you're definitely more qualified than a lot of people that may be applying for it. Look at the key values of the company. Is it somebody you want to work with? If it's do some research on the company, you see a lot of everywhere online now you can find out people can rate companies and put in their personal comments. And if you see a lot of bad comments or people that have worked there, you might want to keep looking. So of course you want to look on the company website and any other publications that you may be able to find about the company. Just do a quick Google search or Bing search or something like that about the company. Okay, the sections of your resume. At the top, you're going to have your personal information. It's going to be all your contact information. You'll make sure that stuff is accurate because that's obviously the way they're going to get a hold of you if you pass the resume test and if they want to have an interview. Your objective, your education, your experience, and then again, honors and activities. We'll talk more about each of these. So obviously, contact information. You want to put your phone, your addresses, email address, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you, and one that is reliable. If you have, like I said, if you're here, not on this campus per se, 'cause we don't have dorms, but in a lot of colleges, bigger colleges, you'll have a dorm address and you'll have a home address as well. So you want to put whichever one where you think they're going to reach you the easiest. Here's an example, and this has a campus address and a permanent address, and then their email and their cell phone. The name is centered at the top. And this is one with one address, but they're centering it on the top of the page. Okay, the objective statement, and just like it says here, there's different approaches to the objective statement. One is very direct, and one is a detailed one. And now it's kind of up in the air. It's up to your own personal feelings on the topic, whether or not you want to use a brief one or a detailed one. And when you go with a detailed one, you're still going to keep it to no more than 2 sentences. And I'll give you some examples here to see what the difference is. So the objective for a brief approach, look at number 2 here. A full-time, objective full-time position as a system analyst. Okay, so that's your objective. Now let's look at number 2 for a descriptive one. Full-time position as a systems analyst, which will allow me to use my programming, technical writing, and supervisory skills to lead a group of dynamic employees. See the difference there? Just my own personal one, I like these better because you can then throw out some of your traits that you think would be a benefit to this company. So yeah, we know you want a job, but what do you bring to it? You can start right here because this is on your first line of your resume. Education, down the education section, we're going to start with our highest ranking degree. So if you have a master's, you're going to put that, where you got it at, what year you graduated, any majors or minors, and then your GPA. And now this says 3.0 or above, so that's going to be a B average or higher. You don't want to see some, put out there you got a 2.1, so you barely had a C. Okay? Businesses aren't looking for average. Okay, here's an example of one. This person here had a Bachelor of Science in Management in December 2007 is when they graduated from Purdue University. They also have a minor in marketing and the overall GPA of a 3.5 out of a 4.0. Okay, so pretty high GPA. And also if you had like an honors roll or something like that, like the President's Honor Roll or something like that, I would put that there as well. Work experience. Include positions you've held which are related to the job you're looking for. This can be both paid and unpaid. A lot of people don't realize that, I was volunteering. They don't sometimes see that as work. But if it's an experience that is relevant to the job you're trying to get, that you want to pull from that as well. So be creative in this section, emphasizing what your experiences, like it says here, most relevant and how they're going to benefit the company. Of course, shouldn't really have to say it, but don't embellish, don't lie, because they'll find out whether or not you really have the experience or not. And just more examples of work experience here. This one is a server, so they provided customers with superior service, ensure their comfort in an upscale restaurant. So that's a little bit better than just saying, I took orders, served food. It looks more professional. And then what was the benefit of that? Achieved net sales ranging from 400 to 750 a night. So by doing A, B was achieved, and they like to see that. Again, just more examples. Okay, action and verb list. Action phrases that help you avoid being too brief, as it says here, and from people understanding your qualification. So an example, if you worked for some prior job and your job was to plan activities, well, that's pretty brief, so you want to put in some more information on that. Plan arts and crafts activities for preschool children. So then it's like not only what you did, but who you did it for, okay? So who is it benefiting? And then here, any clubs you were a part of, organizations. The ultimate goal is to get that interview. As it says here, about 15 seconds, most employers are going to look at it. And what they're looking for is a lot of those action verbs. What have you done? Okay, they want to see what experiences you bring that will benefit their company. White space. Anybody ever heard of white space before? Okay, that's a you want to make sure there's enough white space throughout your resume. That's the, so you can see the paper in between. You don't want everything to be jammed together with no spacing. That makes it hard to read because they're going to scan down it really quick, 15, 20 seconds, and just look for the buzzwords there that they're looking for. And as I told the group earlier this morning, there's actually big companies can scan your resumes and run them through a machine, and it scans them and looks for those words. And if it doesn't find a certain amount of them, then it just goes to trash.
Wow.
So you want to make sure you have well written with a lot of those action verbs. Okay, you can you write that down or just do a search for Purdue Owl. They have a lot of good information as far as anything academics really, and then job search. Okay, I'm going to hand out a couple of documents here. Just read those. Okay, let's look at the one first, sample resumes. On it, you can just thumb through there on your own and look at them. Most resumes tend to be, the information goes in chronological order. Everything from most current to the furthest in the past. So like I said, education, your highest degree and most recent degree down to, maybe you did something 10 years ago before you got your associate's degree, before you moved on to your bachelor's. And same thing, work experience, what you're doing right now and back. Particularly like with me, I had military experience, so I had to take it back a little bit further instead of just most current jobs. Then I had to go back the past 10 years of military, so it was going back to like 2000. Some people ask, well, how far back should I go? I go back as far as you can, as long as it's relevant to the job that you're looking for. And you can find, again, do searches online and find resumes that are geared towards your specific career that you're going into. If you're looking for a business one, you can find a resume for a business. There's an example on there for that. What majors do we have in here?
Associate.
And transfer?
Now I'll look for history.
Okay, history. So you maybe want to look at for educational resume or something. How about y'all?
Information technology.
Okay.
Yeah, associate nurse. Sorry, man.
And Jay here, he's been accepted at UNC Greensboro. He's going there in the fall.
Information systems.
Resume worksheet. This is to be your go-to document. Okay, you fill this thing out, take it home, fill it out when you're not in a rush. Just want to sit down there and be able to write down all your information. That means so when you see a job come open, you pull this document out, pull your pertinent information onto it, and put it in a resume and submit it.
We can use this one and submit it.
Yeah, this is just for your own personal records, so you don't want to, I've had in the past where I find a job that I want to apply for, and the closing date's like 2 days from now. And I don't have anything on paper, so something like this helps keep it organized. And also go ahead and make a resume, just maybe a general resume. You consolidate this information, and then you can tweak it to match the job that you're looking for when you actually find it and apply for it. And you can come back here and say, okay, yeah, that was relevant to this job, so I'm going to put it in my resume. This is basically all the sections of a resume broken down, so you can put a lot more information on it and find out what's would be useful on the job you're applying for. Again, I'm over in the Strickland building. Some of you have already been to my office before, but if anything comes up to these, I'm definitely, if you want to make a resume, bring it by. We can go over it, look how it flows, see if it's relevant to a position that you're applying for. And then as far as job postings here, we put them up, well, we don't put them upstairs. Continuing Ed puts them upstairs, I believe, on the job boards there, and then we put them on our job board by the student services. There's a job board by our entrance, basically. And then also a website that most people are using now is ncworks.gov, okay? And so if I write that down, ncworks, one word, .gov.
What is that? That jobs?
Yeah, jobs in North Carolina.
Were you the one that had sent us, I remember, I think it was last semester, we had got an email with like job listings and stuff? Yeah, guys, so I said, oh man, at first I thought it was some spam. I said, no, the school doesn't get spam. And then I was like,
The school got some.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, oh, because I was getting excited, I was like, cool, some job. I said, wait a minute, this is not. But then they were like, nah, the guy.
Yeah, because I've got a lot of links that are geared towards certain career fields. It's like you want to look at that document and find all the ones with,
I'm sorry that we didn't.
no, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Find
Thank you.
computer information
That's
technology.
it's hard looking at computer jobs because a lot of them, once you have like bachelors and masters and like in a certain field, like what I'm doing, I couldn't do computer science or computer engineering. And so, I had to look up for ones with like information systems and stuff
Right.
like that, and it's hard. And then the ones I did found, they're all like in Raleigh and places like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, look around Duplin County, there's a lot. You're probably going to be having to move if you really
Mhm.
want to.
That's what I'm
because,
doing, trying to get my bachelor, hopefully like that help.
Yeah, I mean, out here we have a couple agricultural companies that are major employers, and then our school system is like the third biggest employer in the county.
I remember there was a place in Wallace that was, I think it was an internship for computers, but I couldn't do them because
Okay.
when he wanted, from what I read in the paper, he wanted the hours were like in the morning. I had class, and I was like, I can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, you definitely tough. You got to work around your school schedule. Definitely, that brings up a good point. Is that internships? Look for them as
Yeah, I'm
well,
looking for them too.
and whether they're paid or unpaid. It's like I told the group this morning. I did an internship for counseling at the high school, and it turned into a job. So it's really good if you can get an internship because they've seen your work, see what kind of quality work you do. They're more likely to hire you than somebody that just submits a resume. They've never seen anything, their work skills.
That's what I try, but I'm kind of embarrassed to do a resume because I don't have that much work experience.
Well, just fill out that worksheet and type it up into a resume and bring it by.
Yeah, well, I got one typed up right now because in one of my computer classes, you had to do one. I got one typed up if you want to see that one.
Yeah, you can bring them by anytime.
Yeah.
They come by and just set up an appointment where we can set aside 30, 45 minutes to just look at it. Okay.
And someone like you, Jay, you probably got more experience than you realize. I mean, I know you worked at
Yeah.
KFC.
Yeah,
and
all that's
probably
part of it.
a lot of times we've done more than what we realize we've done until we sit down and start writing on paper, and then
True.
and so it's.
Like my friend, he has military background there too, so he has a lot.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. Because you see, in the military, that's the one of the side in America that teaches you leadership. Without going into leadership schools, the military is only one of the institutions that really train people in leadership.
I thought about joining the military. I graduated high school, but they talked me out of it. I wish I would have listened.
But I know we'll have sent you to Afghanistan. You wouldn't be
I was ready every
Maybe
day.
shooting some mortars.